Hey, it's great to see you. It's Tuesday, the Ken Matthews Report, Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. Now, if you're watching this show, and thanks for tuning in, it is T-Shirt Tuesday, by the way. This is one of my faves. I know you've probably seen it before, but it is one of my faves. Such a great message. Frightens some people, but not you, but you have those people that you know that you... That's a frightening concept, thinking for yourself, isn't it? Anyway, you already know it's D-Day. D-Day is a big deal for millions of people for many, many, many reasons. And let me jump over to one of my favorite photographs, which you can see clearly here. And because you already know about D-Day and, you know, from a historical standpoint, you've probably had relatives, family, maybe currently or formerly in the military. I don't want to do a history lesson, but I do want to point out these people that say January 6th is like Pearl Harbor, or January 6th is like 9/11, or remember when AOC made these D-Day and World War II type comparisons to the battle against climate crisis and everything else, and global warming? I wish those people would shut up. I mean, free speech is free speech, but please, for the love of common sense, please teach history. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it. I'm looking at these young men here, and this is one of my favorite pictures. Just because of all the different expressions, all the gear. You know, now there's so much different gear. There's more effective gear. Think about just everything in this picture. Now, I'm not sure if this is an LST or not. This might be a different, I think the LST is bigger. I forget the name, so I'm sure someone will correct me. That's okay. This might be an LST here. Do you see this? In the bow of this ship here, this opens up. This giant ship lands. It opens up here where my cursor is, upper left. And this opens up, and then larger vehicles and personnel pour out the front. These are, I think, they're the LSTs, but there might be. There's another name. It's a person's name they give to these little boats, these rickety little boats with zero cover, that bring all these men into the fire. Anyway. So there we are. D-Day. This audience knows about it. Sadly, generations do not. Generations may not learn it. I don't know. Or they'll learn it in a certain way. And that's unfortunate. But I think what's interesting is if you look at the generations, how people are being raised today versus raised then and now. What a difference, right? What a difference. But I have a lot of books, film, video, documentaries on history, because I'm a history buff, history nut, history student. And World War II is definitely among the most fascinating. Pre, during, and then post-World War II is really, I mean, that's when you look at post-World War II, how the world realigned, and some of it was forced. Again, I said I wasn't going to talk history. I'm just saying that the thing I notice is the ages. I noticed what young men were capable of then and now. how men were raised then and now. And I have always believed that since World War II, there has been a design or a plan to weaken the American people so they're never at the strength that they were at that time. I think this is a design by our enemies. I think people that envy our country hope for that. I think globalists hope for that. I think post-World War II, and there's a lot of disagreement on and agreement on policy and methodology and fact and all this stuff. It's like I said, history is a fascinating thing, right? But I think the world looked at little old America after World War II, and they said, holy crap, those guys could have taken over the world if they wanted to. We can never let that happen again. Not that they did. We were fighting a war on two fronts. And we all know, about what Rosie the Riveter and all the stuff on the front lines, on the domestic side, everybody on the same page. And the world saw this new country, this relatively new country. If you think about, I said I was going to talk about history. Look at me now. Stop talking about history, Ken. Get onto the show. Get onto the show, please. Get onto the Ken Matthews Report. I will. Think about all the countries that were in play in World War II. The age of those countries, the lineage of those countries, and the governments of those countries. And in comes the new kid on the block and basically says, all right, here's what's going to happen. And then our enemies, think about it. Think about Germany and think about even our allies. I would imagine England still to today, they're like, damn, we can't let America get that strong again. Jeez, that's some scary stuff. They just kept building planes, building ships, landing craft, guns, bullets. It just never stopped because the entire country was on the same mindset in the same direction. So I have always believed that it was so over the top. D-Day was so over the top. And I know it was an Allied invasion. But I'm just saying, from the standpoint of America, I think there's people that looked at America like, oh my God, this is great. But I think leaders were like, this is some crazy stuff. I don't know. Do we ever want America to be that strong again? We need to get some people, they need to get their ass over into America immediately and shut this stuff down, because we cannot afford to have the youngest, the brightest, the wealthiest country, the most well-armed, the most free, with that type of reach. Keep in mind, after our Navy was destroyed, we rebuilt it. That's what I think happened. I think, again, just my opinion. I think the Allies said, okay, yeah, we're high five, we're allies. But I think it was like, damn. We were getting our ass kicked, and then they came in and, America, America, America. I really, no, I'm America first, don't get me wrong. But I think ever since that flex, I think the people of the world, this is my takeaway from it. The people of the world look at America in awe until this day. That's why every country you go into, it's American products. You always hear these older cultures talking about, we don't want to be Americanized, and We don't want you marrying some American boy or girl and being all Americanized and, But the people, the citizenry of the world look at America like, wow, someday, if we can do something like that, that would be cool. If we can get there, that would be cool. But the leaders, I think the leaders, since that time in history, our enemies were like, oh, crap. And even the allies were like, damn, they're going to get too big for their britches. And, of course, we did. But there we go. But you and I wouldn't even be here without D-Day, right? Things would have been so different. Things would have been so different if some 16-year-old didn't volunteer from Idaho, climb into a plane, first time ever, vomit for 2 hours straight, and then throw himself out of a plane. What were they using? T-10 chutes? The ones that don't steer worth crap? The round ones with a vent? You're trying to turn it and it won't go. All that gear? I can't even imagine all that gear. Gosh, I go on a 3-mile hike with a backpack. I'm done. Let alone all that gear. Anyway, so that's the whole D-Day thing, right? I said I wasn't going to talk about history, and what did I do? I just talked about history. But I love history. I love history, and I love this country. I love all of it. The flaws, the warts, the mistakes that we corrected. Say what you want about the United States of America, but we have corrected more of our mistakes than any other country. So you can talk all day, and you know what the talking points are on the left. You know what they are, right? But I don't think there's any other country that has went to the lengths to fix what may have been broken ever in history. I've never seen it. I've never seen it anywhere else. Have you? You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to wrap this up. We'll just call it a little D-Day segment. A little D-Day segment. And then we'll start the show. Okay? It'll be a little thing. You can like put it in your pocket. It'll be a pocket version of what the heck is he talking about on D-Day. He said he wasn't going to talk about history. But if you love America, which you do, you know that every single hour as this country moves forward, there's this rich history that sometimes it's explored and sometimes it's not. But the levels, the backstories, the moving parts. And it's a shame that in school we just learn one or two things about one or two things. You know, we'll spend 5 minutes on the Civil War. We'll spend 7 minutes on D-Day. And then we'll remind everybody how inadequate America is and of all the mistakes we made. Which is sad that the public school system is there, isn't it? Okay, let's wrap this up. We'll be right back with the first official segment of T-Shirt Tuesday on the Ken Matthews Report.